Hello everyone and welcome to this Impact webinar. My name is Desi and I'm connecting with you from the city of Aalborg, northern Denmark. I'll be your host today and today's webinar is about the shop drawing template settings in Impact for Revit. So I hope that you have taken a good cup of coffee and you're ready to listen while I take you to the Impact Revit universe for the next 30 to 40 minutes. I know your time is quite precious, so I'll try to do that as time efficient as possible. Now, if you're a user that has already Impact Revit installed on your computer and you actively use it during your daily work life, or you're just here to to view the workflow of the software, well, it's both type of viewers. You're more than welcome. I'm going to start with going through the template settings. I'll make sure that everyone attending today has ability to read the template of the shop drawing. So I will spend around 5 minutes in the start to make sure that we're all on the same page, and we'll go through the template and read one. And after I do that, then I'll present to you some of the features that we've just released for a couple of months ago. I've made a selection of features that I think are can be pretty commonly used by everyone that is doing shop drawing with Impact. Now, first, as I promised, let's start with opening the interface of, first of all, Impact Revit and going to the template. We start from there. We have element types in Impact for Revit that you can see here in the start of the Impact tab, right? Once you install Impact, here is the tab, and all element types which are available in Impact are also available in Impact for Revit. We have beams, we have columns, and it is like this that we have falling menus for each one of the element types, and here's the functionalities that you see. We have slabs, pre-stressed solid, walls, three types of them: hollow cores, double walls, linked elements, etc. So once you draw this type of elements and you save them to the Impact database, then you can do a shop drawing out of them. Now, when you do a shop drawing, the best friend of this process for you as a precast designer, that's the template, because the template of the shop drawing is going to save you a lot of manual work. And investing time in setting up a good shop drawing template is going to really pay off in the real design process. So let's jump to it. Let's go and see, where do you find the shop drawing template? We have different sections in the tab, and here you're going to find a section called Drawing in the Impact tab, and if you press on it, here it is. That's the falling menu, and almost all shop drawing functionalities that you're going to find in Impact Revit, they can be found in here. We are interested in the template right now, and we're going to go to the shop drawing template, this button in here, and we're going to open a shop drawing template that we're going to work with today. In this case, there's a sandwich wall template, and I'm going to say edit. And here it is, Impact Revit opening the template for you. What happens now is that we are going into your file structure, into your Impact Revit file structure, and we're opening the template file for the shop drawing of the sandwich wall. Now here it is, we've opened the shop drawing template, and now I'm going to start with this 5 minutes, as you say, just reading the template with you. So we are all on the same page when we go to settings afterwards. So here we are on the project browser. Here we've opened it on the left side. And once you save an element in Impact Revit, it becomes assembly. That's a Revit term. It's assembly. We have also assembly views. That's the views that could be a schedule, that could be a view, different components that are related to this particular element, in our case, assembly. Now, these views or schedules we can organize in sheets. And here we can see, if I just move this a little bit up, then you can see the full picture. We are now in the bottom of Project Browser, and in my template right now, I have two sheets. I have main sheet, which we can see in here. You can also see the tab is called main, and I have a reinforcement sheet. Now, this is a pretty common, I guess, template structure that I've seen around with users. One for geometry, one sheet for geometry, and one for reinforcement. So once you have set up your sheets, you can have as many as you want, and you are actually ready to go to the Impact Revit template settings. So we are on the template, and we go again to the Impact tab up here, and I'm going to go to the Drawing falling menu and take a look in here. All the functionalities are grayed out because we are in the template. We're not in the model, we're in the template. What we can use in the template, these are the settings, the shop drawing settings. So I press on this, and here I open the shop drawing settings, and this window you're going to see a lot today, because this is where all Impact shop drawing settings are made. Here we save everything about your shop drawing, from the size of the sheet that you want to generate, to the distance between the dimension lines. Everything, every setting, big and small, it's here. So I'm gonna read it with you. A very, I would say, I'm gonna go on the common settings. I'm not gonna go into detail, but I'm going to focus on this, what the designer in Impact Revit is going to use. So the first tab, you're probably not going to use that much because that's set in the settings by administrator when you start using Impact, basically showing the drawing status and type. That's Impact parameters. You don't want to mess up with those in a project situation, right? And showing here, that's a sandwich wall. So I see for you as a designer, this is a control sheet, the general tab saying, yeah, that's a sandwich wall, that's correct. And you go further, you go to the drawing views, which is the most used, I guess, from designers tab. So this one I want to read with you. And the first thing you want to make sure is that you're on the sheet that you want to make settings for. That's the main sheet or the reinforcement in my case. And take a look in here. Every time I change sheets, these settings below are changing, because every time I change a sheet, Impact will automatically read the views that are on those sheets. So I'm on my main sheet, which in the concept of my template, that's the geometry. And on my geometry sheet, I want to have, I think I can actually open it in here so we can take a look at that together. If I have a shop drawing. Yeah, that's a shop drawing. That's a good example. So I'm gonna just place it in here, and then I can go to the shop drawing template, to the settings again. And how we can do that? I can just move it in here, I guess. because I want to take a look at the sheet while I'm talking about the settings. So I'm just gonna move it a little bit like this. Yeah. Okay, and here I'm in my shop drawing template. Oh, here I'm in my shop drawing template. I'm gonna open it. Good, so we're back. So we were there where we have a sheet and we have the views. So every view that you have on the shop drawing sheet, elevation top, elevation front, section, in cap, and schedule, they are here in the drawing views. So this is how you read the template, drawing sheet and views. Once you choose the view, I'm going to use elevation front as an example. Here it is, elevation front. It's where you start activating or deactivating settings. Now, what I mean by this is that it might seem like here you have a lot of information in this shop drawing settings window, but it's made with a purpose. And it's made with a purpose to make it easier for you, because you don't need to add or remove. You just need to activate or deactivate. You see, this is easier because let's take an example. I'm on my main sheet. I'm in here. I'm talking about this front view right now, elevation front. I press on it and I can see that, yes, I want end cap information. I want casting material. Everything that is active here is going to be dimensioned or labeled in my shop drawing. But if you go and say that, I don't want any, let's say, stirrup dimension, or I don't want any mesh information because I have a reinforcement sheet for that. I differentiate now on my geometry sheet. So you just go and just switch it off like this. And you choose only the dimensions that are relevant for this view, this sheet in the shop drawing template. Okay, and you do that for the reinforcement sheet. Here we also have some front top views. You can add more. It's up to you. You can add different panels, panel views, front view of the inner panel, front view of the, how it's called, the outer panel, and so on. There's a lot of possibilities. But this is the tab that you're going to use a lot as an Impact Revit designer. And now you're ready to read it and use it together with me. We have the sheet, we have the views, and here are the settings. These are some settings that are made once and they're just there, so I'm not gonna explain them in detail. You can go and read about that if you're interested. And the same for specifications that are primarily impact parameters. That's the third tab, which again, it's there in the standard. It's set up most probably. This is information about sandwich wall. You see here we have element type called sandwich wall. Then we fill in the parameters that come from standard admin or project manager. And they're just here, and you can go and use them here in the drawing head, right? In the drawing head of the shop drawing, you have a lot of information about the strength of the concrete, of the inner outer panel treatment, so on. This is also optimized, but it's not actively changed for each element. So we have taken a look at the drawing views, and I hope you're ready with me to go now in the settings that I want to show you for today. Everything you're going to need for the shop drawing settings is in this sheet, and again, it's either activate or deactivate. Choose left or right. I probably forgot to mention this one. As you can see here in the front view, I have dimensions to top and right. If you want bottom and left, go and choose it here. It's just a click. You don't need to add or remove, just click and choose left or right, top or bottom. Another thing it's important to remember is that every time you close the window, press on apply if you've made a change, because in that way Impact will save the changes in the template. If just make a change of a setting and press close, will not save it. Always press on apply. It doesn't hurt to just extra press it once. That's a habit for me now. Okay, let's see. I have several interesting settings and functionalities that I want to show you. I'll start with the ones that I think that every one of you can use once you are in an Impact Revit project, and that's the manage subdrawing templates. We've actually already used that one. So I'm going to go back in my model and close everything so it's clear and easy to follow. Here is my model, and what you're going to do a lot as a designer is to open the subdrawing template. They are not static, the subdrawing templates are there to be used by you. You see, you just activate, deactivate, you add a view, you save it in the template so you can use it for the next 10 elements that are the same type, and in that way save manual work. So again, opening the shop drawing, you're doing by here, shop drawing templates, manage function. And why this saves you time is that for those of you that have been with us before, you know that if you had to open a shop drawing template before a couple of months ago, then you needed to go into the folder structure of Impact Revit, and you needed to first of Impact, then you, depending on where you are, or if you're on a project or common or local level, then you needed to find the folder Revit function, Revit version, the subdrawing templates. You need to scroll up and down. You see that's a lot of clicks, and all this is in the past. You don't need to do that anymore. You don't need to go into the folder structure. The whole process is way easier with this new functionality. Here you have an overview. First, an overview where you are now, if you're in a common, if you're in a local, or in a project level. As the first thing it gives you, that's the overview. You always know which file are you about to open. And second of all, you are quite fast when managing the files because you can copy them. Let's say a scenario could be that I just want to add the 3D detail, but I don't want to ruin my setup template, and I just copy this one. I just call it test. We can always use it later. And here it is a description field that is added, because then you're also never in doubt. What is this about? Let's say it could be sandwich wall template, but subdrawing template, but it could be a wall that is, let's say, from 3 to 6 meters high, right? So it's a different setup of the sheet, of the views, of the scales, and so on. So description gives you a better overview again. You can delete it, you can rename it, and the one that I use a lot is import and export, because let's say I have a wall, I see a solid wall in my project, I just go to common, and this is the standard. This is the Impact Revit standard that administrator has set on a common, let's see, company level. I'm going to take the ready shop drawing template, I'm going to say import, and it's here to use. I'm just going to press edit, it opens for me, right? So this functionality, I think if you haven't used it until now, it's in the latest release. I'm sure it's gonna make a real change for you Impact Revit designers. I use it every day a lot. You press OK and it's just saved. So again, better overview of the location, of the file name, better overview of the type of the file, the description in here. That's the manage shop drawing templates. Yes, and now we're on functionality. So I scroll through the list of features, and I think I'll take this one with you for you today as well, because I think it's a good one to have on this webinar, even though it's not template related, but it's shop drawing related. What you also do a lot is that you use this functionality called open shop drawing. And what you can do now is that, you know, when you press an open, a list with all the drawings in the model are going to show. But let's take a look at the article of this functionality. Every functionality that we've developed, and especially functionalities that need settings, we strive to document here in Impact Wiki. And here I want to show you how we documented this feature. We have a short video for that. You can see in the models, in Revit models, where you have a lot of shop drawings, it could be quite time consuming to scroll up and down and to make sure, oh, is it the right name? Now I'm opening the shop drawing and so on. But what you can do now is that you can select an element and press on open, like the user is doing here, and then Impact Revit will automatically select the shop drawing for you. So if you're in this crazy huge models of Revit, that's with hundreds of elements, and you're in that view where you have this element now selected, you want to open the shop drawing, select the element and press on open. Let's see how it works. I select this element in here and I say open shop drawing. Impact will automatically select it for me. I say open the sheet and it opens. Here it is. So again, something that is, I think, quite relevant for everyone. It's an easy way to open a shop drawing when you are in these huge Revit models. Okay, now we go to some deep waters. We go to the schedules, and I'm going to do this as clear and structured as the explanation as clear and structured as I can. It's about schedules and setting up schedules. It's I would say Revit functionality. But what we do in Impact is that we take advantage of the great possibilities we have in Revit, and with the help of parameters, we made schedules for casting materials, MEP keys, reinforcement, and so on. Almost every component that you're going to need a schedule for. So we had a user in the summer saying that, well, I want to differentiate I want to make two type of schedules. So one for the inner panel of the casting materials and one for the outer panel, instead of one combined. That would give them a better orientation for the people that are actually going to build the element out in the production hall. So we said, okay, and we implemented a new parameter called impact host. And this parameter is the rockstar in this functionality, because basically what it does is that it's going to record in the family and the generic model for rebar, for mesh, for casting materials, for example, whether it's placed on the inner or the outer panel. And let's see how it works. I'm going to open, here we have an open shop drawing. And here an example of schedules for inner and outer panel. And I intentionally made the one bigger so we can get a better overview of the functionality. So here it is. We have, as you see, we have this load-bearing part that has this connection loops. There is some lifts, bracings. We have extra casting materials. And then on the outer panel, we've had one casting material placed in here. So the impact host, which is integrated in those schedules, is making it possible for us to differentiate and saying that the inner panel has all these lifts and connection loops and casting materials, and the outer one has only one. How do you do that is in simply set in 2 steps. First, you need a schedule in Revit, and then you need to open the Impact Revit template settings and say apply. I'm going to try to do that with you. I'm going to make we actually made a test, a copy of the shop drawing template, so I think we can use that. We're gonna use the test template in here, and I'm going to say edit. I open the test template, and let's see how we can do this 2 schedules. So now I'm in the reinforcement view, but in the reinforcement sheet, I'm sorry, but I want the main view. And I'm going to delete this one from the sheet. If you right click, you say delete. Take a look in here in the main, it's just going to be deleted. Say delete. And the first step, if I want to add an outer panel casting material schedule, is to make it here under the assembly views and schedules. In this case, it's a schedule. So the way you do that is that you say right click, create assembly views, and here you select unselect everything, and you select generic module schedule, and a new schedule is being created in here. Now this is a Revit functionality, and for you that are experienced Revit users, not something new. For you that haven't been doing that, well, it's plenty of information out there. So I'm not gonna use time setting up a schedule. It's basically what you need to do is go in fields and add parameters. If you see here, you're just gonna add, let's say, impact parameters we have here. You're gonna probably want the sim mark, you wanna add the quantity and so on. If you can't find any parameters, then you can go into the shared parameter list and select from here. So I'm not going to bore you with this technical part because as we've seen before, we have already the schedule. It's the outer panel schedule, and I'm going to open it here. So if we take a look at it, it has the parameters that we need in this particular schedule. It's up to you users what to choose. And there are some other filtering that we need to do, saying that the impact host, that's the last parameter that we have here, and the one that's making this functionality working, equals outer. So impact host can have 3 values. It could be impact, it could be outer, inner, it will say inner panel, outer panel, or it could be empty. There's the 3 possibilities. But I'm making an outer panel schedule. That's why it must equals outer. Okay, so we are now there where we have made the schedule. It's in my assembly views and schedules. It's here. So what you need to do is you need to drag it into the sheet where you want it. I want it on main. So I'm in on my main sheet. I'm gonna take it and put it in here. Good. So once you've made via Revit functionality a schedule, you're ready to drag it. That's what we did. And the second step is going to the Impact tab, opening shop drawing settings, the window that we're going to use a lot today, and take a look here. We are in the drawing sheet main, and we say that this schedule, casting materials outer panel, it's already placed in my sheet, so it appears in here in the views. You need to make sure that it's a casting material schedule, and here probably good to know that you have possibility to define its position on the sheet. So you say pick schedule location, and it's going to pick by the top left corner. So yeah, let's try it. If I say like this, you can see it moves down. You can, yeah, place it whatever you want, what suits best the place that you have on your sheet. So I'll just put it in here. Okay, and remember to press on apply. Okay, and now you are good to go. I'm gonna close everything and try to generate a shop drawing. Here we have an element that could be used because we have casting materials in front. Casting materials, it's actually front, we call it the outer panel in here. So it's in the front, some 2 casting materials and a lot in the inner panel. I'm just going to make sure that my element is saved. I'm not quite sure where we are with that, so it doesn't hurt to save it once more time. So once the element is saved successfully, I'm ready to make a shop drawing. You say create shop drawing, and we use the test shop drawing template. So I'm going to select my element and press on replace. I have already a shop drawing for that. So just going to press on replace and make a new one. So let's see how it appears. We should have 2 schedules for inner and for outer panel. And this is again a way to make it more easy to orientate for people that are actually reading our shop drawings as designers. Yeah, okay, so here we are. We have outer panel and we have dimension line 4. We have this casting material. The name is here, that's type, that's actually the family type. And you can add whatever parameters / information that you want in this schedule. In this way, in this example, we choose the reference and the treatment. And here it is. It's 0312 and dimension line 4. Let's try to read it. Dimension line 4. Yeah, it's in the back. That's correct. And that's 2 of them. That's also correct. And the 0312, that's the name of the casting material. It could be also probably interesting for you to find out where this number comes. I think when we can open a casting material and look at it. So I'll go into my components tab in here and I'll go to casting materials just to make the connection to the schedule. So this casting material comes from my common standard and it was 0312. You can actually search here at the top if you have a lot like I have. And here it is. If I say edit, I can review the casting material and how it's saved in the impact database. So the description is here, the family is here, and where does the family comes from, where it comes from my standard, right? So it's my standard and my Revit 2024 folder. That's the version that I use currently. And here it is this family. And then we had two parameters in the schedule, which I just want to show that for you. So if we go to the family, if I open the family, then I can show you where the other parameters come from. So you can see here, that's the casting material family. And do you remember we had the parameter called impact reference? It comes from the family, right? It's the company producing. And then we have treatment. If you want that, you can add it. So this is the idea of this schedule. We have first of all, we divide into inner and outer panel. That's with the help of impact host parameter. And then you can say, where is this impact host parameter? I cannot see it. Oh, it's hidden. I can probably also mention that if I open the template again. It's a good trick to know. Here it is. If I double click on the schedule and press on here, impact schedule, that's a impact parameter. You don't need it. It's not quite informative for the people reading, so you can just say hidden field. You don't need that. It's the same with impact host. It needs to be there, but you don't need to see it. So you can just say hidden field in here. Okay, good. So good to know. Impact host parameter can be used for schedules, divide in inner and outer panel. And this is applicable to sandwich wall, insulated wall, double walls for components like rebar mesh and generic model families. Good. The next thing I need to show, which I guess it's for you that have a flair for detail, it could be good to know, is that now you can actually decide the offset between the edge of the element to the first dimension line. Could be many reasons for that. Let's see here, we have is information going on top of each other. Probably you want to move this, the whole stack of dimensions a little bit up. Let's see how we do it. We have a new setting for that in the template. I'm gonna close everything now so it's easier for you to follow. And I'm gonna go into shop drawing templates. And I'm gonna open the one that we use for the webinar today. Say edit. We open the template and I go direct to the settings. This is impact setting. You don't need Revit for that. You go and open the shop drawing settings. I'm in my main sheet and it was a front view. And this is the reinforcement open in Revit. It's not that it matters, but it's just for educational purpose. I think it's good to be the same shown in here. So drawing views, main sheet, and it is the elevation front. Yes, and we were saying that if we use this setting, that's the new setting, dimension line edge offset. We wanted to move the top 20. I say it so it's pretty distinguishable distance, and I want to move the right as well. I say apply, and can we see the difference? Yeah. If we open the shop drawing template, I think it was this one. I can take a screenshot so we can see if there's coming some difference at all, right? So I'm gonna generate a new shop drawing. It was the sandwich I used, and say replace. So now we'll be able to compare how the dimension lines are offset from the edge of the element. So let's see. Now we generate the shop drawing template. Let's take a look at it. It was the main sheet, and we say open, and here's my screenshot in here. So like this, yeah, so you can see it's moved up and it's moved more to the right. And again, this is another tool that could be useful for you. We have dynamic shop drawing templates, and you as a designer decide what's best for you. If you want to have more space between the element and the first dimension line, use this setting. It's in the shop drawing. It's a new setting, and it's already in the version that you have in the StruSoft installer. Okay, yes, I think I'm gonna quickly go through this one, as I think it's good for you to know that you also have a possibility to add spot elevations. So I'm just gonna show you where it is. It's in the shop drawing templates setting. So I select my templates, I say edit, and here it is. It's actually under each view. I go to the setting views again, to the settings window, to the drawing views, and here you see 4 new lines of dimensions. It's actually not dimensions in a way, because here we have also dimensions, but we also have labels and additional information. So if you want to add spot elevations for the front view, you can do that by activating the spot elevation for the element top, bottom, element opening, top or bottom again. And what's new here is that we've divided them. I had the user saying that I would like, sometimes I need the spot elevation, but I don't need for the whole element. I only need for the top, let's say. Well, we have possibility now. For that, you go under the view and you activate the top of the element. You press and apply, and then it's there, the spot elevation for the top. You don't need to see all of them. You decide which one you want. Okay, good. Now we're almost there. And the last setting I want to show you is also a very interesting one. It's a casting material related, and I guess it's not surprised, as casting materials is the most common components for all of you. And this is where we add a new setting for casting materials that are exactly dimension only in Y or in X axis, so horizontal or vertical axis. And I can probably best explain that if we have examples. So if you take a look at here, that would be a typical setup for dimensions. We have a front view, and here on the horizontal dimensions, we have information about, yes, the dimension line. We have the name of the casting material in your standard. That's this 4 numbers in here. And then we have information about the side of the element where it's placed. And on the vertical dimensions, we don't want to repeat that because we've already have it here. So users most probably want only to have the numbers. But this is a problem if you have a casting material dimension only in vertical dimensions direction. that could be this bracing, as it was the example for this particular case. And for this purpose, we've developed a new dimension that is called dimension tag default. So dimension tag default, we're going to find it now in the shop drawing template, is used specifically for casting materials dimension only in one direction. So let's first make the change. I'm going to make an instance edit of the casting material. So we have this functionality in Revit. If you in Impact Revit, if you say edit casting material in here in the Impact tab and select your casting material, let's see how this bracing is dimensioned. It's center dimension, but I say only in Y direction. That's the vertical direction. So now it's dimension only in Y direction. And have the other one as well. It's also dimension on the center, but I want it only in Y direction. And after you made a change, you need to tell the database that you've done a change, and we do that by saving the element. We save the element, and now we have a casting material dimension only in Y axis. Well, we can probably also take a screenshot of that before we close it, like this. And the setting that I'm talking about is here. Sandwich wall shop drawing template. I'm going to open it, and I wanted to show you the setting. So if we go into the shop drawing settings again and drawing views and front view of the main sheet, casting materials, that's what we're talking about now. So you can see for dimensions horizontally, I want the casting material number, and I have it in here. But for the vertical dimensions, I only want a line number. That makes it easier for me to read. But if I have a casting material dimensioned only in X or Y axis, then this setting here, the new setting, is relevant. It's the one that we count on. It's the dimension tag default, and there I want the casting material. I press on apply, and I'm going to make a shop drawing template with this element, with the bracings that are done dimensioned only in Y axis, in vertical axis. So we're going to see now how my dimension lines are looking like. Let's take a look. So here we open the main sheet, and here it is. So we have bracings, and this is 0207. We dimensioned them only in vertical axis, dimension line 2. It's not available here because that's not relevant. That's the dimension line is probably the same as the 1 because it's just taking it's the starting how it's called, calculations from the center of gravity. So don't need to repeat this horizontal. I understand why users don't want the horizontal of the bracings, but that's not a problem anymore. If you have a casting material only dimension in X or Y axis, then the Impact Revit is going to show both the casting material number and the size of the element where it's placed if you need that. Yes, so that was the last setting that I had for you today, and 15 minutes have gone. So now I'm gonna take some minutes for questions. And before we finish the webinar, I would also like to say that you can be looking forward to another webinar of Impact Revit coming in December. We have a webinar about modeling form slab and double walls in Impact Revit. It comes in on the 12th of December. So make sure that you sign up for that if you're interested in those type of elements. It's again basic modeling plus latest features that I'm going to take for you and make sure that you're updated. Otherwise, please make sure that you follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube. Impact team is pretty good with coming with content. If not daily, at least several times a week, we make updates about the Impact software. Not only Revit, we do updates about all the Impact software that you're probably users of. Okay, great. Do we have some questions? I cannot see any. If you have any questions, send it to us and we're more than happy to answer that. I'll say thank you for today. Have a nice day and see you at the next Impact webinar. Bye.